Righty then, it is the final week of the transfer window. This time next week we will know everyone that's moved. There's still the free transfer market, which technically United could still dip into. As unlikely as that is because registration issues and blah 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 blah. But this is it. This time next week when I'm standing here, I'll probably be doing a review of everyone we've signed, everyone we've sold, and whether or not it was a good window. But until next week, we're talking about the final deals that are going to happen. And do you know what? The way that this window is moving, I would expect some even more movement than the ones that I have got on the list. I think there's going to be a name that just pops up like probably about fucking 5 minutes after I finish recording this and then just completely throws it all into complete and utter disarray. Where are we starting today then, Steve? We're starting with Asensio. Asensio? Really? We are literally trying to build one of these Real Madrid Champions League winning sides, aren't we? That's what we're doing. We're playing Footy Manager with a 2018 database. Nice. Otherwise, why was like Arnautovic and Rabiot and everyone linked? Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Anyways, right. What's going on with Asensio? What's going on with Asensio, Antony, and Gakpo? Are we going to sign free wingers? Probably not, no. Are we going to sign free wingers when we're absolutely desperate for a striker? Jesus Christ, you'd hope not, wouldn't you? That's absolutely batshit crazy if that's the case. Are we going to sign... Listen, are we going to sign 2 out of them free wingers? No. I'm pretty sure we're going to sign one of those free wingers. And if I had to put money on it, it wouldn't be Asensio that I was talking about. And when you look at the guy's numbers over the last year, has he played for one of the best...
We want double glaziers.
You need a fucking baby wipe, mate. What are you doing? Fucking cricket, eh? Imagine going watching a sport so shit you have to dress up like Pocahontas. Have you ever been to a fucking sport so gash? You was like... You go, match ticket, phone, keys, wallet. What else do we need? Oh yeah, we need fancy dress. What are we talking about? Fucking Asensio. Are we signing him? No, his stats are shit. You play for one of the best teams in the world and gets about a goal or a goal involvement about every 1 in 3 games. That's not going to translate well to United, is it? Really? Let's be honest. So Asensio to United... That's not to say it wouldn't happen. I just wouldn't like it to happen. When you've got the likes of Gakpo, who's a lot more potential, I think, you've got Antony, who I think is just a lot better, despite the money. Asensio just seems like he seems like he's very much the third on the list, and certainly the third one that we would bring in if the other two managed to blow us off at some level. That's my thoughts on that, at least, anyway. So Asensio to United, I think we're probably in the mixer, but I think there's a much stronger chance with Antony and a much stronger chance with Gakpo. So I'm going to say something along the lines of 3 out of 10. So let's talk Antony then. So straight off the bat, Mike McGrath, James Ducker, The Telegraph. Antony is trying to force his way into Manchester United at the moment. And how's he doing that? Well, he's doing that by essentially his agents have like based themselves in London. He's house hunting in Manchester. He is about as desperate to get to Old Trafford as a man could be. What's the hold up? Well, the price. And do you know what? The price is a hefty price. I'm not exactly happy with the price. Somewhere in the region of about £84 million, which is a lot of scratch, isn't it? Is that too much money for Antony? Yeah, I think it probably is. But then you read the papers. Oh, let's be honest, no one reads papers anymore. You put Sky Sports News on and they say, hey, do you know that Gordon fella who's never scored a straightforward goal in his life? He's potentially going to Chelsea for 70 million. And you go, Jesus Christ, 84 million for Antony is a fucking rate bargain, isn't it? Some of the prices in this transfer window are just unfathomable. I think Gordon's an all-right player. But all-right players should not go for 70 million pounds. Like, if I come to you and I said, listen, here's 70 million quid, I'd like you to make me like 3 or 4 academy products that maybe could feature in our first team, it wouldn't cost you 70 million quid, would it? You'd probably be able to produce quite a lot of really, really good academy players with a budget of 70 million quid. These are the metrics that you've got to start throwing it around at. What are you going to get for 70 million quid for Gordon? Why? And then how's James Garner only worth 14? 70. Absolutely bonkers. So, on the Antony front, It seems like a deal could be done. I don't know if I'd be happy with United or pissed off with United. Over the last 6 months, we've come in, we've took the manager. Now, they didn't get a fee for him. I'm sure they would have liked a fee for him. And I don't think we're far away from manager fees, by the way. I think that's something that you might see in the near future is manager fees. It's the future. George Mendes, call me. We've got a great manager off him. Then we come in, we take Martinez. And this is after tapping up what looks like 3/4 of the rest of their team. Now, they've sold half of their team to Bayern Munich. They've sold the other half to Manchester United. And I was still knocking on the door going, hey, how's about some of that Antony fella? £84 million is so much cash for this guy. He's a serious talent. But being a serious talent in the Eredivisie does not always translate necessarily to being a serious talent in the Premier League. Now, there has been players that have done it in the past, and there will be players that do it in the future. That doesn't mean Antony is one way or the other. It just means it is what it is. The other thing to factor in with Antony is Antony's currently not training with Ajax ahead of this move. That's what makes this one a bit funky. That's what makes it look like he's not just saying, I'd like to play for United, but he's almost down tools. And on one hand, I respect that. On the other hand, I go, does that set a really bad precedent? Because then when Barcelona and Real Madrid come in from him in about 3 years' time, is he just going to do the same to us? Don't know about that one. Don't necessarily know if I like that one. Antony to United, though. I mean, man, we're not going to get to do any more of this afterwards. It's going to be whatever I give it today going forwards. It's certainly not at 10 out of 10. And I don't quite feel it's 9 out of 10, even though I think it could happen. I've got to give it 8 out of 10 at best. And then the next one, Gakpo. So like I said, are we signing 3 wingers? No, we're not. And I think it's Antony, Gakpo, and then Asensio, and then whoever else you want to throw in the mix after that. Gakpo, I think he's a real talent. I just don't think that we're going to be signing him as well as. I think he's the backup plan if Antony doesn't manage to come off. I think his price is a lot more palatable, and if there's still talk of United trying to sign a right back, and there is, I haven't got any specifics to go over right now that are worth looking into, but there is talk that United are going to try and bring in a right back. The worrying thing amongst all of this, and I'll talk about this when we talk about Ronaldo more, is we are not on the surface of things at least, looking at a striker. Why aren't we looking at a striker? Do we really think we can go into the season with Marcus and Tony Marshall and Ronaldo, who's, I think, going to try his hardest to get out for the last 7 days of the window? So, what are we going to do? Gakpo to United, I think he's second choice, and I think his score is going to entirely depend on what goes on with Antony. So I'm going to give him 5 out of 10. Memphis. If I had a quid for every single person that had said to me, would you take Memphis back at United? I could clear Barcelona's debt. Would I take Memphis at United? No! Fucking wouldn't. Do you not remember that? Look, sometimes Manchester United is too big for players. And I actually thought Memphis did all right when he was here at United. Maybe the number 7 wasn't the right sort of decision. There's other things at play. But sometimes Old Trafford is just too big for certain players. And I get the impression that Old Trafford at times was too big for Memphis. He had some really good performances. The problem he had is that he was very close to Louis van Gaal. So the minute Jose Mourinho came, he was like, hi, nice to meet you, nice to meet you. Memphis, out the fucking door. He played in 4 minutes. He gave him 4 minutes before shunting him out the door when we needed forward players. So I'm not having that in the slightest. I don't think he was given a full opportunity by Jose Mourinho, but I also don't think he grasped the opportunity that he got. Memphis back to United. This is the guy that was turning up to training dressed like a fucking matador, mooching around in a Rolls Royce to the point where Wayne Rooney had to pull him up and be like, listen mate, can I have a word? What the fuck are you dressed as? For all the people that saw their ass with Jesse Lingard, because he does a bit of fucking TikTok dancing, right? Jesse Lingard isn't a rapper. Memphis Depay is literally out here fucking rapping in actual music videos and rap videos. Now you tell me, that's all well and good the day you signed him, you're like, fucking check this out, loads of personality and all that sort of shit. The minute he drops a 6 out of 10 or lower performance, he would be absolutely crucified. Do I want to see Memphis Depay back in the Premier League? No. Do I think he had a really good show at Lyon? Yes. And I think he deserved a big move. Was quite surprised he got the move to Barcelona in all honesty. But I don't think he's the sort of player that you want to be bringing back to Old Trafford. Does it add up on matter? Yeah, Dutch, blah, blah, blah. But do you know what I mean? I don't want it. So because I don't want it, I'm going to massively project on whether I think it's going to happen or not. I'm going to get a fucking 1 out of 10. Martin Dubravka. Now, the interesting thing about this is he's not being brought in supposedly as a number 2. Martin Dubravka is coming in along the lines of We want to put some pressure on David De Gea with a goalkeeper that can play out. A goalkeeper that's going to cost us less for a transfer fee than we paid David De Gea in 2 months in wages. Make that make sense. It'd be very interesting if Dubravka does come in and he manages to sit David De Gea on the bench. I think De Gea is an issue. I didn't think it was an issue that we were going to look at even attempting to solve this window. I thought this was like, yeah, we know about it. We'll start work on it now and we'll bring somebody in next year, year after maybe, or another window. But it sounds like Ten Hag's seen his arse suitably enough where we know we haven't got a shitload of budget, so we're not going to go and find the world's new #1 goalkeeper. But actually, can we improve upon him a little bit for 5 million, 4 million? Maybe they'll go and do it. I think this one's got legs. No one makes up a fucking rumour about United signing Dubravka for clicks today, right? Let's be honest. No one's sitting there going, Dubravka? Jesus Christ, click that quick. I think there's probably something in that. But it begs the question, whose coffee has Tom Heaton been pissing in? Tom Heaton's literally a World Cup goalkeeper, literally one of the best goalkeepers in the league, literally had first choice Premier League goalkeeping offers before he came to Manchester United, comes to Manchester United, fulfills a lifelong dream of playing for Manchester United as a United Academy product and United fan, and somehow can't get away from being third choice when he would literally probably start for at least 3 or 4 teams, I think, at least in the Premier League, and probably every team in the Championship. I'm a United fan, but at some point, someone needs to pull Tom aside and be like, mate, do you not want to play? Why is Tom still here? And why is he not good enough to be the second choice? Why has he got to go all the way back to being third choice? I don't get it. I do not get that one in the slightest. But Dubravka to United, do I think it's happening? I got to give it a 7 out of 10. I think that it might. Yeah, I think there's something in that. I don't think it's bullshit. I think there's definitely something in it. And I think we could be in for more. Second choice goalkeeper. Yeah, I can see that. Another winger. Yeah, I can see that. Right back. There's been some rumours, been some talk, but nothing concrete. Centre forward. There needs to be one. And there's not enough rumours about it. On the outs, the major out at the moment is Cristiano Ronaldo. But let's be honest. Aaron Wan-Bissaka's still going to be here this time next week when we know he doesn't want him. So why is he still here? We haven't heard anything about Brandon Williams. I've been told there's about 10 players going out on loan. So this is probably going to be the likes of Hannibal, Ahmad. Maybe Brandon Williams is included in that. Maybe Zidane, maybe Charlie Savage. These are players I would expect to start going out on loan. And the loan window can obviously go outside of the window as well. But these are all of the players that I think are going to go. All of them youngsters, that little sort of 21-ish age group, I think all of them are going to go out on loan. But there's not exactly a lot of rumours about who they are, where they're going, and all the rest of that sort of stuff. So that might be a lastminute.com thing in the window. James Garner, there was some talk of him going. That's seemingly gone quiet. What's the reasoning for that? Christ knows. And then we have Cristiano Ronaldo. Ronaldo's been pure okey-cokey this window. He's been in, he's been out, he's been in, he shook it all about, and now we're talking about the last 5 or 6 days of the window, what's going to happen. Personally, I'm back to thinking he'll go. I don't think he's going to be starting this weekend, and I think after not starting last weekend, he's like, yeah, get me to fuck. I don't want to be... Cristiano Ronaldo's ego cannot take, and maybe it shouldn't need to either, by the way, but I don't think Cristiano Ronaldo's ego can take being on the bench for a team in Europa League. One, not only is it a Europa League team, he's not even starting for it. The end comes gradually, and then suddenly. And maybe it's the end for Cristiano Ronaldo. The newspapers this morning were talking about a 99% done deal. If you cast your minds back to Gerard Romero's 95% De Jong done one. Doesn't really mean anything, does it? 99% done to Sporting Lisbon. Now, I think all of us at one point sort of saw that in our mind's eye. Cristiano Ronaldo, going back to where it all started, Sporting Lisbon kit. So when you see the links to Sporting Lisbon, you go, yeah, I can see that. Because are Paris coming in for him? No, and Paris do a mad one. Chelsea might be in the mix, because look at what they're doing with Gordon. I couldn't rule anything out with Chelsea at the moment. They're moving mad this window. And then you hear this. There's some talk that George Mendes is basically pimping Ronaldo out to anyone that will listen to him. That's your Chelsea, that's your Sporting Lisbon. Marseille, for one of them, and Napoli. But not only is he trying to pimp Ronaldo out to Napoli, which technically is his job, so you can't get mad at him for that, he's also playing the other side. So he isn't just going to go to United and be like, anyway, remember Ronaldo? Well, he's gone. I've sorted a deal out for him in a bit. He's also trying to manufacture United spending 100 million on someone like Victor Osimhen. So Napoli will be happy to sell because they're going to get Ronaldo. And United be happy to sell Ronaldo because they're going to get Victor Osimhen and have the privilege of paying 100 million for him. This is fucked up on loads of levels. One, how does Mendes know what sort of budget we've got or are willing to spend? Two, how does he know that we're interested in Osimhen? And three, it's just a bit fucking nuts, isn't it, that you've got the agent of one player, well, I guess it's more than one player, but you know what I mean, trying to not just like manage his agent, his client, but other people's clients as well, and move all of these chess pieces round at once. I don't think United's recruitment team have done fuck all this window. Who've we signed? We've signed players that Ten Hag had the number of. So Ten Hag's probably got on the blower and been like, hello, do you fancy coming with me to Manchester United? It hasn't been recruitment, data-led scouting. You know, it hasn't been a director of football that's gone, here's what I think we need, based on what I think you play like, blah, blah, blah. Or it doesn't sound like he's sat down with the manager and gone, do you know what I mean? It doesn't, does it? Like, if they'd have sat down and he's gone, look, let's look at what we signed. We signed a centre-half, we signed a left-back, we signed a centre-mid, or two centre-mids, and potentially a right-winger in Antony, right? Have we sat down and identified all of those, and they just happen to be the ones that he had the phone number for, were the best candidates in the world? Or has it been everyone at Old Trafford and Carrington spinning around in their fucking chairs while Ten Hag's like, right, I need a left-back, ring Malacia up, I need a centre-mid, I know Ericsson's on a free, let me call him, or send him a WhatsApp, are you up? Yeah? That's what it feels like our recruitment team's done this year. Fuck all. Now, yes, they have to go and enact everything else on the backside of that once we identify who we want as targets. But for me, recruitment should be a collaborative effort. I don't think the video analysis team should be coming to the manager and saying, you need to sign him. I think the video analysis team needs to come up with shortlists of players based on what the manager wants. So if he walks in and goes, I want a creative centre-mid and a destroyer, I want a new centre-half that can play out from the back, I want a left-back that's effective in both boxes and in between, and I want a winger that can beat a man, right? If that was his criteria, what happens then, well, what should happen in my opinion, is the video analysis team identifies, and we call them video analysis team because they'll use video to sort of display it, but realistically they're people that are looking at the stats and the metrics. So it's the performance analysis team rather than a video analysis team. So them guys are going to identify the people whose stats line up to the sort of thing that you're looking for. Then you will send scouts out to go and compile reports on them live if possible, but you would also expect Manchester United to just be compiling reports on players anyway. You would expect when Manchester United decided they were going to go and sign Lisandro Martinez, that there is a folder on a computer somewhere that's got 19 scout reports about Lisandro Martinez. And if it hasn't, what the fuck are they doing? Why don't United have tabs on tabs? Why don't United have tabs or like, fucking hell, I've done myself in there, haven't I? I'm going home. Why don't United have a dossier on various different players that we can keep track of, that we can identify, and that we are keeping? Like, United didn't do this at the end of Fergie's reign. That could have been because of the Glazers, or it could have been for whatever reason, right? It was blatantly obvious to anyone that watched us. Rio was coming to the end of his time at United. Vidic was coming to the end of his time at United. And Patrice Evra was coming to the end of his time at United. And when all three of them hit overripe at the same time, we was always going to be fucked. So where was United's live list of the top young centre-halves in the world? Where was Rafael Varane on that list? Because he moved the same window Phil Jones moved. And now they're both at the club. And at one point, both of them were ranked as two of the best centre-halves in the world. Phil Jones didn't work out for whatever problem, and the injuries with Phil Jones was evident pretty early on. Where was our live list of where the next Robin Van Persie was going to be? Where was our live list of where the next Paul Scholes was going to be? And you might say we tried to identify that with Anderson. Well, in that case, United need to be more ruthless in getting rid of the players that obviously aren't going to be that. Manchester United should have just a constant live list of the top 5 potentially available players. If they're already at Real Madrid and Bayern Munich and stuff like that, forget about them, just fucking try and buy them on FIFA, right? Because you're not getting them in real life. But for those players that haven't yet made their move to that AAA club, when they're at a Dortmund, when they're at a Porto, when they're at a fucking Fenerbahce, somewhere like that, or a PSV, where you can take them to the next level, United should have a list of all of the top talent that's doing stuff like that. We did a scout report, or I did a scout report on Schlotterbeck. And I actually have enough contacts to be able to throw some suggestions at United as fucking stupid as this seems. And this was while Ralph was still here. And I said, listen, I think I found a really, really good defender and I want a second opinion on it. The information that I sent forward was sent to the top at United. Now, I don't do this often. And this might be one of the only times that I've actually done it, actually. And I actually got word back. One from somebody who's still at the club and one that was direct from Ralph. And Ralph didn't rate him. And the person that's still at the club said that the reports the club had on him weren't impressive. Schlotterbeck signed for Dortmund. And he's putting in fucking 9 out of 10 performances, absolutely smashing it for them right now. Why aren't United able to find or correctly identify that these players... He is worth 90 million of anybody's money right now. And what did he move for? Fucking peanuts. United's recruitment leaves a lot to be desired in a lot of areas. Now, I know there was a massive overhaul. Back in April, Marcel Boot and Jim Lawler both left. And that was, between them, the two people that was in charge of Manchester United's scouting and recruiting. Roughly between the two of them. And it's not necessarily been released who has replaced those people, if they've even been replaced. And when you look at, we've just signed people that was in WhatsApp groups with Ten Hag, it looks like we haven't actually gone and done that sort of recruitment. All right, we signed Casemiro. But much like last summer, and actually this was under Lawler and Marcel Boot, who did we sign last summer? Jason Sanchez, who we've been linked with for fucking 4 years. Rafael Varane, who at the time was like the best centre-half in the world. And Cristiano Ronaldo. Oh, and Tom Eaton, who used to play here. Who scouted them a fucking 12-year-old with FIFA? Where's United's Vidic signing? Someone from Spartak Moscow that you're like, trust me, this kid's going to be fucking mustard, watch. When was the last time we signed one of them? We spent 30 million and I'm added, he couldn't get a game at fucking Rangers. I watched a 7-minute YouTube highlights of Palestri and went, he's shit, he will never play for United. Because his highlights had him making mistakes in them. And if you can only get enough video that you have to include your mistakes in, you're not fucking good enough to have highlights, and you're not good enough to spend 30 million on, and you're not good enough to play for Manchester United, especially when those highlights are you playing in South America, which is known for being a league where you can dribble past people and you really favours attacking players. If you get a South American that is a defender, and they can look good in highlights because they're up against teams that defend very high, and you're asking them to do a lot 1v1. Hence why the likes of Martinez end up being really good defenders. George Mendes, you better believe, is going to look after his number one client. That's probably made him somewhere like $1 billion over the course of his career. He's going to look after him. And if he wants out, and it sounds like he wants out, he's getting out. My only problem with saying 10 out of 10 for Ronaldo is I have no idea who's going to pay for him. But I think if he's on the bench again this weekend, he's gone. So I'm going to give it 6 out of 10 if he starts. 9 out of 10 if he's on the bench. I just don't see a way back from him, ego-wise, if he doesn't get that. And that's it. I'm sure there'll be more deals to confirm over the next few days. And like I said, I'll be back here to do transfer review next week. See how we did. But I think there's going to be a name that pops up from nowhere. Watch out for a striker. Watch out for a right back. I think we get Antony over the line. I think we might be seeing the end of Cristiano Ronaldo again in a bit.